Hello everyone and welcome back to Lakeside, and this video really is in response to some of the comments from the previous video, and it's really just to explain my thinking once again on the lake and the viaducts, etc. Don't worry, it's not a rant or anything. It's purely an explanation as to why I'm doing something, rather than trying to type it all in the comments. So let me just show you first of all what I've done so far. Oh, that's sun's coming straight through that window, sorry about that. As you can see, I've built, or part built, a viaduct for the canal running along the back, and what I've also done is I've taken the MDF away, which was here, that was going along here, so I've taken that right back to virtually the beam which is here running underneath that part of the MDF, which needs to stay for stability. So I've taken that right back so that the viaduct can go back a good 6 inches. I've just placed a piece of MDF on the existing lake bed, just for now, just so that I can pop the viaduct on there to show you. Obviously nowhere near finished yet. It's got a piece at the end to put on, and likewise that end too, but you can get the gist of what I'm doing. So it's quite a narrow viaduct. It will be wider than that when it's finished, because what I want to do is have a single canal with a towpath on one side along there, and that will go, as I say, from there right away to the end. The reason, well, not the reason, but I got this particular kit from Metcalf, but it's not the same viaduct as what I've got here. This is 00 gauge, and that is N gauge. Now the reason why I got that was 2 reasons. One, I wanted the viaduct for the canal to look different. Oh, that's our dog again. I wanted to look different from this viaduct here. I wanted them to be quite different in the appearance, and I thought, well, that suits the build perfectly, because it's obviously a different shape than the other viaduct, and it's because it's N gauge, it's given me a false perspective of distance. So when we look through, I can block that, when we look through, it looks further away. Probably doesn't look it on the camera, but in real life it looks further away than it actually is, so it creates a lot more distance visually from here to here. So that was the reason for choosing the N gauge, for false perspective and for a different shape to this one. So that's the reason why I've chosen that, and that's going to work out really nice, I think, by the time it's finished. So the canal will still come from that tunnel and come along, go over the viaduct, which is now right at the back, or near enough at the back, and disappear through the new vegetation which I will put up there, an embankment. A couple of people commented and said that the tunnel, because it's a 00 gauge railway tunnel, then it's too large for a canal, which it is. It's far too high, but of course the canal will be raised up, so if you take half of that height away, that's really where the embankment will start. So the embankment won't be on the ground, it will be further up here, and when the canal is built, the boat will just about pass through that tunnel, so that will give the illusion of a much smaller tunnel. So hopefully that's cleared that up. The bridge, I had a couple of comments about that. Yes, I appreciate that. Actually, really what should happen is that that side where the horses would go up would come along, and then they would come down this side. If I can modify that bridge, I will. If not, I will leave it. It's, you know, if it's too much of a nightmare to do, then I won't bother. But I think it's probably possible that I can modify it so that horses will come up, go over, and come down this side. So that takes care of that one. Right, oh yes, another comment, or several comments, were saying about how about having the railway track, that railway track, all that, over at the back, and the viaduct for the canal, or the canal, over at the front, so that it's more visible, if you like. Well, that's fine, but the problem is that if the canal is here, what do I do with it when I get to here? Where does it go? Do I take it around here where the tracks are? Not really. I can't really cross over the tracks. So that's the reason why the canal is sitting over the back, because I've got a clear run from the tunnel right the way through without any disturbance along there. And then of course I've got the same problem this side. If the canal was here, where does it run to? I don't know. I could curve it and stop it on the edge here, but I do not like roads, bridges, rivers coming across a layout and just stopping blank here, pretending that it's carrying on. So I think that solution, what I've got there, having it at the back, is, for me anyway, the better solution. So that takes care of that comment. I can't think of any others, to be honest, while I'm up here. There were others, but as I say, I can't remember it. One was to also make this a marina, the lake, with ski boats and the like on it. No, I'm not really keen on that idea. I could have a sailing club, perhaps, on here, but we'll see on that. I don't want it to look too gimmicky. That's the thing. I don't want, you know, a huge amount of things on the lake. It's just going to be a couple of fishing boats, and that's about it. On the canal, I will have some form of sluice whereby water from the canal can go down into the lake. That's a definite, that will happen. I just didn't explain that in the last video. I've already got that, so that just needs to be installed as I'm building it. I have seen a photograph of a canal whereby the excess water comes over the side in several places as sluices, so they open the sluice gate up and it drains into the river, or in my case the lake. But all that will be taken into consideration as I'm building. So hopefully that's given you a few more ideas as regards what I'm doing here. I was a little bit naughty, I guess, in the fact that I didn't explain it too well in the previous video, but I didn't want to say too much at that time, if I'm honest. I wanted to leave it as a little bit of a surprise when I did it, but I thought, well, I can't really. I think I need to come back up and do another video like this just to explain really what's happening. So once I've built the viaduct for the canal, I can then do the viaduct for the 4 tracks over here. Once those two are done, then I can start building the canal in earnest, because I shall then have the amount of room dedicated to that canal, which I couldn't have done had I left that MDF where it was. So I've now got that room there to do the lock, which now brings me on to one more comment or suggestion, and that was that a few people couldn't understand how I was going to make the gates operate without showing, because they're opening and closing in a normal fashion, how I would do the moving water, because obviously you've got to have a V-shaped cut in it for the gates. Well, that's assuming that the gates are going to open in a normal traditional manner, like so, which I did kind of show on the previous video. I lied. That's not that's not how they're going to operate. They're going to operate in a vertical position, and they're called guillotine gates or locks, and because it acts like a guillotine, the gate rises and lowers, so that gives me a squared off face to do the raising water. I won't have to worry about gaps leaving or left for the swing gates. Again, I didn't really want to explain that or go into too much detail in the previous video. I wanted to leave it as a surprise, but I thought, well, I need to explain it. So that's what's going to happen there. So there's going to be two gates either end of the lock which operate vertically at either end, and they are of course done electronically through motors and gearboxes, and there's a couple up north which operate that way. So I've got reference material for that, which I will put at the end of the video to show you what I mean. I think that's about it, people. So I just want to catch up on some of the reasoning and comments from the previous video, just so you know exactly what I'm planning in my head and for the future for here. Okay, so I think that's about it for now. At least you've seen a little update. I've been away for 3 days, so not much work's been done again, but hopefully I think all my stuff is now out of the way as regards not being able to work up here. So I'm hoping that I can get a good few days up here working away. First thing I'm going to do is finish building this and get that to the correct length. Okay, so I will bid you all farewell, and please stay safe, and I'll speak to you again soon. Okay, so bye for now. Bye.